Hello, beautiful people. Samson Williams here. And I just had a thought and I was like, let me write about executive FUD. What is executive FUD? I threw it up on the whiteboard. We're going to walk you through it. Here's what executive FUD means. So, what is executive FUD? Executive FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I'm going to walk you through this like I wrote it out so it makes more sense. We started here at doubt. So when executives have doubt, they really have self-doubt. And self-doubt is so crazy because you're the only person who can doubt yourself. No one else can create self-doubt with you or actually make self-doubt real. Only you can control self-doubt. And most people have self-doubt because of intellectual insecurity. They feel that they're not smart enough, particularly if you're an executive. And so you start to compensate. And when you start to compensate, you do some really stupid shit like small hand antics that don't actually end in results. And so this is where doubt starts with self-doubt and due to intellectual security, you're just not confident in yourself. And that leads to compensation for your behaviors. And those are small hand antics. And you probably see some if you've ever seen POTUS 45, because they don't actually give you the results that you want. So after doubt is actually uncertainty. So you're uncertain of yourself. You're uncertain of your ability. You might be uncertain of your team. Did you hire the right people? Are you surrounded by the right people? Occasionally you might not be sure about your product, what's going to happen in the market, or your position itself. You're unsure about your position because it goes back to that insecurity thing. And so it's very difficult when you're not secure in yourself to get over uncertainty in your position because you have a position on paper, but this all leads up to fear. And so as an executive and just as a human being, everyone has a huge fear of failure. It's like, oh shit, I so don't want to fail. Because you might be worried about being exposed as a fraud. We talk about this a lot when we say imposter syndrome. And so you don't want by your peers, we didn't write that up here, by your peers to be exposed as a fraud, to be an imposter, that you're not worthy. Because if you feel you're not worthy, that also means you're not capable. And that comes back to your intellectual insecurity. And it's not only intellectual insecurity, it's also just knowing yourself and being comfortable with your skin. Because the real thing executives fear and the real thing people fear is legacy. They fear that their incompetence will kill their legacy. And once your legacy is done, that's a wrap. And so I'm going to write this out, but this is just executive FUD. And the great thing about this, or the funny thing about this, is when we talk about executive FUD, we're really just talking about all these qualitative traits and characteristics. None of these things are quantitative. They're all verbs and adjectives describing how people feel. Because when we talk about executive FUD, we're really talking about how does a person, whether they're executive, a line worker, or an associate, or just a regular human being, how do they feel? And so this is a key point you got to keep in mind. Whether you're at the top of the corporate ladder, just starting at the corporate ladder, you're a human, you have a lot of feelings. Get in touch with those feelings because they determine so much, typically how you feel about your position and your level of quote unquote success. So that's it for the moment. My name is Samson Williams. I'm only a lawyer on Twitter, but I'm always an anthropologist. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. And as soon as I write this out, I will drop that link below so you can read about executive FUD. Peace.